Hi, guys, it's Mrs. Cummins. We are going to explore today some topics that we've talked about in the past, but also topics that we've been recently investigating. First thing is we're going to, and this whole entire day is going to be doing a 10% summary with a start sentence. And the second thing is if you take a look at your handout, you should see that this document looks pretty familiar from some things that you've done before, some other 10% summaries that you've done in the past. The other document that you have is an article entitled Little Girls Doubt That Women Can Be Brilliant, Study Shows. So you can clearly see that we're going to be reading an article that also looks into some social justice topics, and this one is particularly gender inequality. So if we go back to the 10% summary sheet, the first thing that it asks you to do is to find 10% of the article. It's really important for you to know this up front so that you know what you're looking for in each section, or you can break it up into sections, which I did for you in this case, but you'll have to do on your own in other cases, as well as to know how many words you can have in each section. So this first one, the first question says, this article has blank words, so 10% of this article would be. And what's really nice is that these articles give you the word count. So you can see that this article is 723 words. So when I go back over here, you're going to want to plug that in here. And then 10%, so if I go in and plug this in, 723, 10% of this article, all I have to do is move the decimal point over 1 to find that 10% would be 72 words total. Now, I know that it doesn't have to be exactly 72, so I can give or take 4. So I would say that we would be somewhere between 68 and 76 words. Also, the next part says this article has 4 sections. I already broke them into sections, but you would have to chunk it if you just had a perfectly blank article. So in order to find how many words you should be between in each section, or after you write your main ideas, you just divide them by 4. So we're looking at anywhere between, if I divide 68 by 4, I get 17, and 76 by 4 is 19. So anywhere between 17 to 19 words. But that's give or take. You want to make sure that you've got all of the points in each section for your summary. So please fill that in now. You may pause and make sure you've got those numbers in. Okay, now that we've identified 10% of our summary, now the next thing on our chart says vocabulary words that you need to know. So if you just take a moment, please read through each one of these words and the definition for that. So when you go back to your article, and you see them within the first couple of paragraphs, you'll understand what they're talking about. You'll be able to define them a little bit more clearly and have better comprehension. So please press pause right now and read through the vocabulary words that you need to know for this article. Okay, next up is, after we looked at the vocabulary words, now we can begin reading and looking at section 1. Keep in mind, this is where we need to pull from what we learned about in the last class, where we were identifying the main idea and supporting details. So if you take a look at section 1 and your chart, what you're to do is, after you're done reading section 1, you're going to look for all the supporting details, or the big key ideas that you discovered in those paragraphs. Then from all of these supporting details, you're going to write one sentence that has who or what it's mostly about and what these details have in common. Okay, we can remember our formula from last class to write this sentence. Also, one thing we also need to remember is that we said up in this earlier section that your summary sections should be between 17 to 19 words, give or take a couple. So at this time, what I would like you to do is read very carefully and mark up the text. Section 1, you can see on your article that there is a line drawn, and then there's also a 1 right next to it. So you're going to read that those first 2 paragraphs essentially. So pause right now, read section 1, and then I'm back on to go over the supporting details and the main idea. Okay, from section 1, after you've read it, you can very clearly see and pull out the supporting details. Please write these in your chart as I go over them. The first thing that I found, the one key detail that I discovered, was that girls as young as 6 believe that men are simply smarter and more talented than women. The second key idea that I found is that girls are less likely to pursue new activities and ambitious careers. The third thing, the big idea that I discovered, or big detail, is that society in general believes that males have a higher intellectual ability than females. And finally, a researcher named, Simpian, did a study with 400 children from ages 5 to 7. I didn't have any other details, so I left these two blank. So please pause and fill in these details. I'm going to keep going. So the main idea sentence that I came up with is, I had to think, who or what are these mostly about, all of these details? And then finally, what do all these details have in common? I used that formula to create this main idea sentence based on simply section 1. So here it is. A recent study. So that's basically the who or what this section was mostly about. And what the key details had in common was that it proves that girls ages 6 to 7 believe that men are smarter than women. This is a basic introductory paragraph, so I didn't have as many key points to pull from, so my main idea sentence was only 15 words. Once again, please pause and make sure that you have this filled into your chart. Okay, on to section 2. At this time, please read the entire section 2. It starts in the middle of the first page and goes to the bottom of the first page. Again, you can see the line breaks and the numbers in the article. So please pause and read that now. Okay, we're back on the scene here. So what I discovered from this section, these were the supporting details, or the key ideas, key points that were found in simply this section. The first thing that I found is that the study asked children to select either the male or female picture when asked which one was really, really smart. So they kind of just simply stated what this study was all about. The second supporting detail that I discovered is that in the first part of the study, at age 5, girls and boys both associated brilliance with their own gender. So up to age 5, when it asked to choose which a boy or a girl picture, which one was brilliant or more intelligent, they would simply choose their own gender. So girls would pick girls and boys would pick boys. At age, here's the third key detail that I discovered, is that at age 6 or 7, girls were less likely to associate women with brilliance. So once they maybe hit school age, girls were less likely, they mostly chose men. Yet, here's my fourth detail, girls tended to select their own gender when asked to select the character that does well in school. So what the article said is that didn't really matter how hard somebody worked, or that proficiency in school didn't seem to add up to girls selecting girls for brilliance or intelligence. So these are the 4 details that I discovered in section 2. What I would like you to do right now is pause this video and write your main idea statement for section 2, thinking about who or what is this mostly about, and what do all of these details have in common. Try to accomplish this between 17 and 19 words, give or take a few. Okay, please pause and do that now. Okay, so now at this point, you should have a main idea sentence written as well. Please take a look at mine to see maybe how they compare, maybe how you can change. So these were the details that we created. Here is my main idea sentence. When asked to select an intelligent character, 5-year-olds chose their own gender, while 6 to 7-year-old girls mostly chose men. You can see that I really didn't include this fourth main idea. it was something that in the end I thought was maybe too minor or wasn't necessary for a 10% summary. So please take a look at yours. One, make sure that your sentence makes sense. If you took out too many words just to meet the word requirement, and now it doesn't make sense, you need to go in and fix it. If you take a look at mine is 22 words. So I definitely went over, but I still chose lean and efficient language that makes sense and includes all of the details that I was looking for. So definitely check your main idea sentence against mine. Do that now, please. Okay, now for section 3. Please pause this video, read section 3, and mark up the text as needed. You can see that it's on the back. It's the first 3 paragraphs of the top of the second page. So please read section 3 and mark up the text. As you are reading, look for supporting details and fill them in the box below. So fill them in right after you're done reading the section 3. Do that now, please. Okay, so now that you have the main ideas written into your, now that you have the main ideas written into section 3, take a look at my 3 main idea or supporting details. Sorry, I keep saying main idea. Look at my 3 supporting details compared to your supporting details to see how you did. I have 6 to 7-year-olds were asked to choose a game for either kids who are really smart or tried really hard. Girls were more likely to choose the game for kids who worked really hard. And the third supporting detail that I have is this result suggests that girls shy away from selecting more ambitious majors and careers when they get older. So check to make sure, did you have similar supporting details? If you did not, fix it. If you did, then go ahead and pause and write your main idea statement for section 3 based on who or what these are mostly about and what the details have in common. Again, trying to make it between 17 and 19 words. Do that now, please.